How long did you have to train on the ground doing the push-ups and the running before you did the actual jump towers?
Well, the toughest part of airborne training actually is the 34-foot tower. Now you say, well, you know, 34 feet, you're going to be jumping from 1,200 feet. But the difference is that when the tower is only 35 feet, and then it has some wires, or that when you jump out in a regular suit. It's a harness, and you jump out of it. It's out of the harness and slide down for about 100 yards down these wires, and you have some of your buddies down there that will stop you and you get off. But the difficult part is you're looking down, and all of your buddies are looking up at you, you know, to see whether you're going to do this or not. And you know, it's very difficult to. It's the toughest part about the training, I think. You know, it's got to be when you jump out at 1,000 or 1,200 feet, not a problem. But just looking down at all those guys, looking up at you, looking at your face, seeing whether you've got what it takes, whether you've got the guts to do it or not. And that was the difficult part of it. And I think anybody who has gone through airborne training will agree with that, because it is tough going up that ladder. And it's up to you, you know, it's volunteer. And you don't want to walk down that ladder in the embarrassment and listen to the guys talking about you, and they have some very unkind things to say about you if that happens, you know. So
the peer pressure is stronger than the danger of jumping out of a 1,200-foot plane.
Yes, it is.
So that was the rigorous part of the training.
Yes, and you have an instructor there with his board, and he's checking to see whether your feet, when you jump out, that your feet are together, that your hands are on your reserve, which is right in front of you here. Your main chute is in the back. And all of those, you know, it's a good imitation of what happens in the aircraft. And it's a bit uncomfortable to have all that stuff coming up between your legs and over your shoulders, and so forth. But it's a lot of fun once you're able to do it and get through that part of it, because the jumping was the easy part.
So there were 34-foot towers. Were there other towers?
There were little, I'd say they were platforms about as high as that table over there. And you'd stand on that platform, and you would practice what they call practice landing falls. In other words, you just didn't hit the ground and land on your feet and that's it, because they didn't want you to get hurt. So you take about 60% of the shock on your feet, and then about 20% on your legs, the hips, so forth. And you sort of go into it, you sort of let your body meld into the ground. In other words, it's not just you land, bingo, and you're there. Now, they do it nowadays. You know, it's a different type of chute, and you can stand, and it's done all the time. But back in those days, of course, you had all this, and they don't have all that equipment with them. You have this equipment, and you want to be sure that you bend properly and do things properly. And also, you have to concern yourself with the wind, because you, in the event that it's a bit windy, and sometimes it can be. Of course, there's a cutoff. They won't jump if the wind's at a certain, if it's that windy. But what they would do, they teach you how to run around it. There was one way of doing it, or just pull the risers, pull it as fast as you can as soon as you hit the ground. and that would deflate the chute.